looking forward to getting back on the court, try to rectify the defense, since obviously it wasn't a very good outing Saturday with the defense in the floor. So, you know, Ole Miss is a good team. They're not easy to play against at their place, and we're coming off a bad loss, particularly on the defensive end. So, you know, we're looking to get back to playing somebody else. I think we've had 2 good days of practice. It's pretty easy to get the guys' attention when you give them 117, but I did think we had 2 pretty solid days on the defensive end, trying to fix some stuff. So it's, I mean, I think as you've seen this year, it's not easy to win on the road. You know, last week there was 18 losses amongst AP top 25 teams, and 15 of them are on the road, and 11 were non-ranked teams. So winning on the road is not easy at this level. This will not be an easy game at Ole Miss. Shoot, even if they're at home, it won't be easy. They're good. I mean, they've got very good players. You know, Morrell's one of the best players in program history. Flanagan's a very good player. It's been in the SEC for a long time, between his time at Auburn and here. You know, they've got Brightfield, who was at Duke and transferred in, is a very skilled foreman, and then they've got real rim protection. You know, at their 5 spot, and shoot, their point guard Murray's been. We've got 4 guys that are scoring at a pretty high level, and he's one of them. He's quick, he gets in the paint. So we've had some issues with guys getting in the paint on us. For us, it's going to be a tough game for us defensively. We're going to have to pick up our defense significantly from Saturday.
Start with Kelly.
Yeah, too, if I can. First off, how's Wright's progressing? And second, I mean, what kind of ownership do you sense the guys are taking in defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think they were embarrassed. It'd be hard not to after giving up 117. So I'm embarrassed that the team I coach was that poor defensively. But you know, it's comes and goes with the ownership. It's, you know, you get embarrassed, play really hard. I told them it's got to become who you are. Can't be, you get motivated after a bad outing. So, you know, they're motivated right now because they just gave up 117. We'll see if we face a little adversity tomorrow, how long the motivation lasts, and can they make it become who they are rather than just, you know, short of motivational. I'm gonna play hard because I got embarrassed the last play or the last game or the last 4 minutes. So I do think enough of them care, but we'll see if they care enough to make a lasting change. And then Wright, so with the head injury stuff, it's every day you got to reevaluate, make sure he's not getting a headache. So he's still not 100% going to play tomorrow. But, you know, it's like every morning you got to wake up for Clark and Dr. Bittner are the ones that are handling that. But it'd be nice to have him back sooner rather than later, but you also don't want to rush him because, you know, these things could go on and on if you don't handle it correctly in the right manner. So we're going to do it the right way, not rush him back, but looking forward to getting him back as soon as we can.
Blake.
You've had a lot of success coming off of losses, being able to bounce back from losses, especially in SEC play this year. What do you think about this group has led to that, and have you seen some of those same things over the past couple of days?
Yeah, I think we got some competitors with some pride. I mean, go down the list. Like, I thought Aaron Estrada's been great in practice, his defensive effort. Like, he's a guy that's played a lot of basketball, that's playing in his last season of college basketball, is eligible. He doesn't want to look like we looked on Saturday. You know, I don't want us to look like that for him. Think about it. Like, I thought Grant Nelson's been a lot better. His leadership, Nick Pringle's had 2 of the best days he's ever had. You know, you kind of go down the list, and I think Mark understands he's got to guard better, and he's, you know, thought yesterday in practice he was really good. You know, that was one hard day we went. You know, wasn't going to kill him the day before a game, but we were off Sunday. We went hard yesterday. We went long, we went hard for the end of February. You know, and I think there's a lot of guys, you know, Ryland's one of our better defenders, and he wasn't where he needed to be for us against Kentucky. I think guys have some pride that, you know, you take a loss, like, we're definitely not coming back and playing bad back to back. So, you know, it's gonna be hard to get this win on the road, but I think our guys are gonna play extremely hard trying to get the win.
Chase.
Who's come the furthest from the beginning of the season when you were harping on defense right out of the gate, and among guys who weren't already good defensively, who now are there, or almost there?
It's a good question. Day to day, week to week, it probably changes. I mean, Ryland wasn't very good in our first scrimmage against TCU. He picked it up pretty quickly, and he's been pretty good for the most part. Sears is showing he's got the capabilities of being a really good defender. Thought he was great yesterday in practice, but you know, it's probably a little too early to say if he's, you know, we'll see over the next 2 weeks how much he improves. I'd say, like, Sam Walters was a disaster on defense at the beginning of the year, like, to put it bluntly, and he knows it, and he just never really had to guard anybody. You know, he's an elite shooter and he's gonna stay in the game in high school no matter what. They'd go to a zone without, like, he's come a long ways. He's actually not a disaster anymore. I'm not gonna come out and say he's Kawhi Leonard yet, but he's come a long ways. He's 6'9", he's learning, he's put some weight on, he's got some toughness to him. I thought he had a tough offensive rebound putback against Florida. He had the tip where we got it. So, you know, you see his toughness and physicality starting to come into play on the defensive end, on the offensive rebounding side. I think Sam maybe has made as big a jump now. He had the biggest jump to make, but he's maybe made the biggest jump. And you know, he wasn't very good against Kentucky. None of us were really, but I'd like to see him bounce back and really play well against Ole Miss, because I think he's been really trying to be about the right things and make a jump defensively. So, yeah, I don't. It's a hard question to ask because we have a lot of guys that need to make big jumps. Probably Sam need to make the biggest. I think he maybe has made the biggest.
Matt.
From the beginning of the season, as it's become clear that like the defense is an issue that has lasted throughout, have you noticed teams coming at you differently game plan wise than now?
You know what? I think some teams will push a little bit. You know, teams are afraid to run on us typically. They don't want to get in a running match with us, but some teams have tried to get out and transition a little bit more to test our transition game, because that's been a little suspect at times. Kentucky exposed us tremendously in transition. I actually hope teams keep trying to push it on us in transition, because obviously we'd like to get up and down game, 80+ possessions like we had Kentucky. We just need to do a much better job on our defensive end doing that. So I think teams maybe have tried to play a little faster in transition. You know, I just think they shoot whatever they do well. We haven't been able to take it away. So I don't think teams are changing the game plan that much. They go to what they do well, and we haven't been able to take it away very often, and they keep going at it. So we're gonna have to figure out how to take away what they do well better. We're gonna have to figure out how to get back and guard and transition better. And you know, we had the issue with the defensive rebounding, particularly the A&M game, but you know, we were able to still score well enough that game. The Florida game, we were able to offensive rebound ourselves enough that game, but you know, Kentucky was not one of the better rebounding teams that could. I mean, we out-rebounded them by a few, but we need to really out-rebound them a lot more. So there's plenty of areas teams can expose us on, and they're, whatever they do well, that's what they've been getting to. We haven't been able to do a great job taking away what another team does well, to be honest with you.
Two more. Charlie.
You talked a lot about turnovers after the game too. Just how much of that is an emphasis with the way that Ole Miss was able to steal the ball?
Yeah, they do have some guys that can go take the ball, and they shoot. Every team I've ever coached against, that Chris Beard coaches, they play hard. It's no exception. Every time I watch those teams play, they're one of the hardest playing teams. So playing hard, getting steals goes hand in hand. You know, their system's been able to turn people over every year he's been in college basketball. So it's definitely concerning, because we've had some issues with turnovers. And as bad as our defense was against Kentucky, our turnovers might have been even worse, because that got their transition offense going, and it really hurt our offense too. So we were awful defensively. We were equally as bad, if not worse, in taking care of the ball against Kentucky. So both of those points have been made to our guys, and we got to do a much better job taking care of the ball.
Last one, Tony.
Yeah, the other thing they do really well is block shots. Is that something you can combat, or is it more just your speed against their size? Or
No, I do think we've made that point. I mean, you look at their two centers that, you know, they will go small ball 5 and play break field there some, but when they're playing Cisse and Sharp, I mean, Sharp's 7'5" and Cisse's 7-footer that moves, and they have real rim protection. So when we can, I tell you guys, a block shot at the rim is just almost as bad as a turnover. It ignites the break the other way. So, you know, we've got to make better rim decisions. We didn't make great ones against Kentucky all the time. We got in there, jumped in the air, got caught, turned it over on a light ball, jumped in there, threw it off, got blocked. Gana's a great shot blocker for Kentucky as well. So when we do get to the rim and the shot blockers in front of us, we've got to make better rim decisions. The play is not to just shoot with a 7'5" guy in front of you, or 7'1", whatever Cisse is. Like, we've got to find the open man. We got to get to 2 feet. We got to find cutters. We got to be smart with our decisions once we get in the paint at the rim.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.